All right, let's talk about the requirements of your final project. So your final project has two parts. The first part is to do a little write-up. Well, actually, step one is to implement any feedback that you've received. So that's also important. I've given you feedback on the last couple assignments, and you've also gotten feedback from your peers. So make sure that you're incorporating that into your project as you feel is appropriate. Okay, so the first part really, is your write-up. So you need to do a write-up using Word. You can convert it to a PDF if you want. It needs to be at least 500 words. And then here is exactly what I am grading your write-up on. So you need to have an introduction. Your introduction will need to introduce the subject of your website, explain who the audience is, and include the URL. So this is all in your site plan, so this should be relatively easy. You might want to change wording to make it fit better, but generally that's what you're going to need to put there. You're also going to want to have a separate title page with the title, your name, the class, and then the date. So that's just the introduction. Further on in your write-up, you need to talk about your goals and objectives. So what was your goal of the website? What did you want to accomplish? You're also going to want to talk about the design process. So did you have to make design changes with your website? Did you do things any differently than you originally planned? What were those changes like? What was the process like? What did you have to do to create your site? Talk about the process a little bit. And then finally, you will write a conclusion. So you're going to talk about what you learned and then how you might use these skills in the future. So then the second part is obviously your personal site, and this is the majority of the points. So the requirements for that are in the syllabus. So right here, again, so you're going to be required to write the HTML and CSS. You should already have a lot of that done because we've been working on it on the previous few weeks. So again, your website needs to have a home page and then two child pages. One of your child pages needs to have a form. And then also your website needs to be hosted on the web. So we're using Glitch for this class, so Glitch will fulfill that requirement. Your web page needs to have significant text content, and it needs to be appropriate for your audience and your website. Some of you guys do not have very much text on your website. If that's the case, I've probably been telling you that in the comments on your previous week's submissions. So if I've been saying that to you, pay attention, because if you don't make changes, you're going to miss points here. I've been telling you that so you can change it and get those points on the final. So make sure that you have significant content. You're going to need at least one image on every web page. It needs to relate to the content of the page. You also need working links to your two child pages. So basically on every page of your site where you have those navigation links, they need to all work. And then another requirement is to be laid out and styled according to your site plan. So I'm going to be looking at your site plan. I'm going to make sure the colors match. I'm going to make sure that the fonts match. And I'm going to make sure that the layout matches your the mock-ups or wireframes that you created. And then the last requirement is that it needs to be visually appealing and easily readable. So I realize that visually appealing is a little bit subjective, so I will be grading somewhat leniently on that. However, here are some things that I'm looking for and things that I might grade down on. You need to think about spacing. Does the content feel cramped? Does it feel like it needs to breathe a little? How is the spacing on your site? Are things running into each other? Do they need padding? Things like that. So I'm going to be looking at spacing. Another thing that I'm going to be looking at is colors. Are you using a light color on a light background that is hard to read? Are you using a dark color on a dark background that's hard to read? Your text needs to have contrast and be readable. And that goes into visually appealing. One of the last things that I've kind of seen on some websites is some of you guys have kind of a dated look and feel. And so I realize that everyone has a different look and feel that they're going for, but if your website looks like it was created in the 90s, it's probably just not going to be visually appealing. So you know, things shouldn't be too busy. It should feel clean. Things like that. So if you guys need to review each other's site, if you're not sure if your site is visually appealing, you can participate in the optional discussion boards and get some feedback from your peers. I will try to hop in there if people aren't responding. Generally, I try to let you guys respond to each other, but if you're not getting the feedback that you need, I will definitely hop in there. So yeah, those are some of the things that I'm looking for with visually appealing, just making sure that it's modern, clean, not crammed, readable, text isn't too light, things like that. And so those are your requirements. So get those done, and I am looking forward to seeing your final site. It's been really amazing to watch your progress these several weeks, and I'm just really excited to see your final products and see kind of what things you've done. It's gonna be awesome. Where's the stop button?